What's up, you guys? We are back with Week 12 NFL picks on Beat the Odds NFL edition. This is Odds Checker. So, guys, how are we doing this week before we get started with this week's picks? Still waking up.
Same. No, I'm okay. I just keep going 2-2. I'm just Mr. 2-2, Mr. 500, and you didn't get the pick of the week last week. I missed the Saints game. I maybe wasn't up to the news that the entire offensive line might be out. I knew Kamara might be out, and I was okay with Trevor Siemian starting, but the offensive line was a little hindrance. But yeah, ended up going 2-2 last week.
Yep, same thing on my end. Same team too. Saints and then Cowboys in that matchup last night. So
I thought we were going to get that backdoor cover. I was seeing it coming. I was going to see the touchdown and the 2-point. I was like,
well, they kept kicking field goals, and they were missing half of them too.
I know. Did he one touchdown? I know.
All right. Well, what do you guys have for us this week? And then, as always, we'll do our picks of the week at the end of this video.
I'm going to start. I'm going to stay with the Cowboys at -7 hosting the Raiders. And this is I got to – this might be a little out on a limb. I got to see what some of the health with some of the Cowboys guys are. I know Mari Cooper will be out with COVID. CeeDee Lamb has a concussion. And I got to see if Tyron Smith is bouncing back. But other than that, I really trust this Cowboys defense. I now have seen enough proof in the pudding to go, okay, they aren't as lucky maybe as I thought they would tip balls and all that things. Maybe it's a more sustainable, which is going to help against this Raiders team that's kind of going through a funk as a franchise right now. Cowboys are going to be at home. They have kind of been an inconsistent last couple weeks, 2 out of 3 weeks on offense, but I think they're going to rally. I think Dak's going to be ticked off on Thanksgiving. I'm going to go with the Cowboys -7, and I think they're going to be going away against the Raiders.
Thanksgiving picks. There we go.
Yeah. That's why we do it on Monday, baby. We get plenty of time to get those bets in.
My first pick, Buffalo at New Orleans. New Orleans is a 4.5-point home dog. This is a Buffalo team that I never really bought into. They just kind of feel glass cannon-y, right? Like they can't run the ball. They can't stop the run. So, okay. So they're good on the perimeters. And then offensively, even on the perimeters, it's like, it's just Stephon Diggs. It's one guy. So
there's no Cole Beasley anymore, man. Like it is. You're exactly right. It's Stephon Diggs. That's their offense. And Josh Allen go do stuff.
Yeah, that's exactly. And I think New Orleans is going to get a little healthier. That's amazing that it's 4.5. Honestly, I'm just fixed on that number at home. That's amazing. So I just think New Orleans is going to be able to operate a little bit. Obviously with Simeon in there, like that never stopped their run game really, and like Sean Payton is still going to be Sean Payton at the end of the day. So if you need someone to throw out like designer 13 personnel runs to just run up the gut against the Bills, like this is the game that it's going to happen, even with, lesser talent on the field. So I'm taking New Orleans here as long as it's over 3. 4.5 at home, that's amazing because I don't think this Buffalo team is like nearly as good as everyone thought that they would be. Everyone was quick to crown them like number 1 seed in the AFC. They're not even the number 1 seed in the AFC East anymore. So like they're going to be playing on the road the whole postseason. I'm taking New Orleans here.
I have the exact same pick for the exact same reasoning. I think this is an overreaction somewhat. People go, oh, the Bills are better than this. And it's like, they are a solid team. I will say solid, but they have played an easy schedule.
They haven't looked good in like a month and a half
on offense. And that Saints defense, that was a terrible matchup for them with the Eagles. And God, this is gambling all in all. It's like that was a terrible matchup for them for defense because Eagles don't run a traditional offense with Jalen Hurts. They run their own offense, like they're their own world. Bills run more of a spread stuff. Dennis Allen's going to love that. He's going to love being able to
eat him up. He's going to look at him like lunch.
Yep, with those funky, and they have a weak O-line right now, the Bills. They haven't been protecting well, so I see that the exact same way. So that's my second pick, Saints plus 4.5. I think it's an overreaction. I think, like you said, the Saints get healthier, especially up front, and I think it's going to be an ugly 2017 slog. This could be an ugly ass game. So yeah, I'm with you on this one.
I'm going to pick a gross game that I think has a lot of value on it. The New York Jets at the Houston Texans. The Texans are 2.5-point home favorites. I'm taking Houston here. When Tyrod's in there, they look like a competent football team.
They do.
when Mills is in there, they look like they should not be participating.
We forget
in the
when
NFL.
Tyrod was healthy at the beginning of the year.
Yes.
It's like, hey, the Texans offense is doing some fun stuff. Like,
yeah. You're like, oh, they have like every dude on that team is 27 years old. Like, oh yeah, they're all vets who played.
It's a whole bunch of 79 overall on Madden. Like that's what their whole roster. It's all
exactly.
those dudes.
The Jets are just a mess. They're a tire fire, and they had that little spurt with Mike White at quarterback. Since and before that spurt with Mike White, they were the worst team in the NFL. I really do think that there's a chance like Houston could come in and beat them by like double digits, frankly. I think this Jets team is very bad. And I think if we actually credited out like draft picks based off of how good teams actually are versus like their record, I think the Lions are probably a better team than this Jets team, frankly. And they have a lot less quit in them. too. This Jets team, like it seems like once it goes downhill, hey man, that thing starts rolling. So yeah, I'm gonna take Houston.
Last week I had the Lions plus 10. That ended up going off at like plus 13, and it's still covered. And I was just like, just because they stay in it, like they play hard. And that's such a good point compared to the Jets. It's such a different bad team vibe. It's like the Lions have way less than the blue chips guys.
Well, one of them hasn't benched the second overall quarterback and hired his personal quarterback coach. Yeah, I know. Yikes. That's
an interesting subplot. That's so Jets, by the way. I know. And way to go, Lions fans. Honestly, they're the best defeated team, not undefeated, the best defeated team I've seen in a long time. I enjoy at least watching the Lions. I'm going to go with I think this is going to be a fist fight. I'm going with the Steelers plus 4.5 at the Bengals. I have been low on the Bengals throughout the year, but I do think this version of how they're winning, I know this Raiders game is weird, but this version of how they're winning, makes a little bit more sense to me. They actually not bad running the ball, especially when they get under center. It's just that they insist on trying to do the Joe Burrow offense, and I like Joe Burrow, but it's just you can tell the answers are becoming more and more limited as more film gets out there. I think the Steelers team, I've got to see some of their health. I do think this performance, Matt Canada has gotten more of his hands on the offense even before Big Ben got hurt. Yesterday was a little bit of a different one, but he's taken the PO out of the RPO for Big Ben and made him run the ball a little bit more. So I'm going to go with the Steelers plus 4.5. I think this can be a nice division battle. I think the Steelers are motivated. I think they need a win in a tight AFC North, and I'm going to go with the Steelers plus 4.5.
My last pick before the pick of the week, Cleveland at Baltimore. Baltimore is a 4-point home favorite. I'm taking Baltimore here. I just think Baker looks banged up, man. And that's really the end all be all of this pick. The one thing Baltimore can't do is play pass coverage. And I don't think that Cleveland can deliver the ball to the point that like it'll actually hurt Baltimore. That's the only way they come out of this game with a win. I don't think that they can do it just because Baker's banged up, and I don't think all 8 of his injuries are gonna, get better by Sunday. Like he's just going through so much. It's him and
a new one every week. It's a new one.
It's a new one every week. His wife's on Instagram saying the rest of the team should be tougher. Oh, you missed that? Yeah,
no, I didn't see that.
Oh, it was. Yeah, you go check that out after this. But yeah, I think Baker and Russ are just the 2 quarterbacks that seem to be adamant on playing football games that they should be held out of, frankly. Like the Seahawks still can't go under center, and it's like, buddy, come on, you're hurting your team a little bit. I'm sure Case Keenum could deliver some of these balls, but you have to be out here being like, no, I want to take the reps at quarterback. All right. Well, that's why I'm putting money against you. So I'm taking the Baltimore Ravens -4.
Isn't it funny? It's very telling that the Browns fans and really just people in the know are more worried about Nick Chubb's health than Baker Mayfield's health. And that if that's your offense, and they're more worried about the running back. I mean, Nick Chubb's incredible, but if you're more worried about the running back than the quarterback, that kind of speaks a little bit about.
How dare you talk about running backs? How dare you?
I actually had someone ask me last night, "Are running backs actually valuable?" And I was like, "Yeah, Jonathan Taylor's pretty good, isn't he?"
Says the Wisconsin quarterback.
I know. Hey.
All right. Well, let's get into our picks of the week. I also have Raiders Cowboys. I like the game. I'm very interested in that game, but also the Titans Patriots game. So since Nate already picked the Cowboys game, I'm doing -7 also, but I'm going to switch things up. I'm looking at Titans Patriots. I like Patriots -5.5. Patriots, they're back. Like, everything is good in the world. I'm like, looking, but Titans are looking good too, so that'll be a good matchup. I'm excited for that one.
My pick of the week is the Patriots minus 5.5. I agree. I think the Patriots are a very good team. They've been on the upswing. Some teams, they have, like Matt Ryan's and the Atlanta Falcons last Thursday wasn't the greatest. It wasn't the greatest show on turf. Trust me, that was not the 2016 Falcons. They tried it out there, but I do think this Patriots defense is going to, if you're not a top tier offense, they're going to bust you up. They're going to make it hard on you. And the Titans, we talk about running back value. They're trying to find their way without the safety net that is Derrick Henry. And if AJ Brown's, hurt his ribs, hurt his hand, he's hurt his hamstring, he's banged up every week. Julio Jones is banged up every week, so their star power is just gone. They're relying on Dez Fitzpatrick, who they cut 2 weeks into camp and then now re-signed a couple of weeks ago to be like, hey, please run some slants for us. And that did not look pretty yesterday. I watched it. I trust this Patriots team. I think this minus 5.5 is a perfect line for it, and I'm going to take it.
I like the pick. I'm going to go in a different direction, though. Tampa, minus 2.5 at Indianapolis. I feel like this was the Colts overreaction game of the century.
And Bucks haven't played yet, so that's the thing. So,
yes. And I think Tampa, just as an overall team, just has more talent. And at the end of the day, you got Tom Brady going against Carson Wentz, who's still doing his ducking sack animation that makes no sense.
He got out of one yesterday.
He did.
He pulled the Matrix.
He's going to do it for the next 2 years.
He's 1 for 20.
Yeah, he's going to do it for the next 2 years because he got away with it once. Obviously, Jonathan Taylor is going to have that game against this Tampa Bay team. I just feel like this is just overreaction of the century for Indianapolis. So I'm going to take Tampa Bay. I'm going to take that Tom Brady guy, who seems like he pulls out these games every single year, especially once we get deep into November and December. So go Bucks. I need you this week because I'm tired of going 2-2.
All right. Well, that's all that we have for this week for week 12, Beat the Odds NFL edition. Happy Thanksgiving, and we will catch you guys next week.